This video is for brow and lash tinting. So we're going to start as if we first got to work. We are going to wash our hands immediately upon arriving. So we're going to go to the sink and wet our hands, find the liquid hand soap, and we're going to wet our hands and wash our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We are going to wash our fingers, and we're going to wash the backs of our fingers. We are going to wash our fingertips and our thumbs, between our fingers and our thumbs. We're going to wash our thumbs. We're going to wash our wrists. All of that interlocking motion for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. When we feel like we've gotten nice and clean, we are going to rinse our hands thoroughly under the water, and then we're going to get either a clean towel or disposable paper towels, and we're going to turn off the faucet with the towels, dry everything off. If it's disposable paper towels, you're going to throw them in the trash. Clean towel, you're going to go ahead and put that in a dirty, with the dirty linen in a closed container until it's time to do laundry. And then you're going to get your hand sanitizer, 70% ethyl alcohol, and you're going to sanitize your hands thoroughly. And then you are going to prepare your room for prepare your room and get ready for your client who is coming in for your brow and your lash tint. So what you want to do first is you want to get to that room, and you want to disinfect that workstation, bed, and equipment using a disinfectant wipe following manufacturer's instructions. You're going to check equipment to ensure that all devices are in safe working order and plugged into a working receptacle. You're going to gather clean supplies needed for the lash and brow tint service, storing in a clean closed container. You're going to dispense products needed for the service according to the client's desired shade for brows and lashes. You'll mix according to manufacturer's directions. You will prepare disposable portion cups for each product with a portion of the product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup tray, or you're going to remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula. You'll close the lid to the product and set the portion cup tray on the tray. You're going to drape your facial bed using one fitted sheet, one flat sheet, and 3 towels. You'll place clean laundered sheets down on the disinfected facial bed, placing a towel horizontally at the head of the bed. You'll lay a hairnet and a headband on top of the first towel, along with a roll towel to support the head and neck of the client. You'll save the third towel to lay across the client's décolleté, or you can use disposable table paper to drape the bed. And then what you're going to do is you're going to meet your client so that you can have a client consultation. But you're not going to do that with dirty hands. So obviously you've just cleaned, but you're going to make sure you have clean hands when you meet your client. We're going to wash our hands again before we actually start the service, but just want to review with you what's already prepared on my tray for the service. So I have a little water. We have 2x2s and 4x4s. We have cotton rounds. We have disposable iPads. We have our color cream with that developer. We have disposable mascara wands, makeup remover. We have a barrier cream, something like a petroleum jelly to protect around the brow and eye area. We have wooden stick Q-tips. Of course, we have disposable gloves because we wear gloves for this service. So we're ready to go there. The only thing is we have to do our client consultation to know what shade our client wants to do the tint in, and that would be when we would mix the color up. So we're going to go meet with our client to do the client consultation. So let's just review what happens when you meet with your client. So you're going to greet your client and escort them to the work area. You will determine the client's preferences. You will assess the client's needs, assess the client's skin by performing a skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation, for example, lice, to prevent from safely performing the service. You'll assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products used within the last 72 hours. You'll consult on any known allergies. You will consult with the client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months, and if the client's under a physician's care. You'll assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. You'll assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. You will assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers. And if the client is free from any of those contraindications, you can move forward with the service, which our client is just fine. So we are going to go ahead and get our client comfortable. So they don't have to disrobe for this service. You're just going to get them to the facial bed where they will lay down. And then I've got my roll towel right here that I'm going to put underneath my client's neck so that it's a little bit more comfortable. I have a hairnet to keep the hair away from the brows and the lashes. So that's important that you're keeping it out of the face. And then I'm going to drape my client so that she's completely covered. So her clothes or her skin would not get anything on them, any tint on them if there was to be any kind of a situation where tint or anything moved. So that is good to go. And then we are going to wash our hands so that we can get started on the service. So you're going to go to your sink. You're going to wet your hands. You're going to find the liquid hand soap. You're going to wash your hands down to your wrists. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to your wrists. You're going to wash your fingers. And you're going to wash the backs of your fingers. You are going to wash your fingertips and nails. You're going to wash between your fingers. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You're going to wash your thumbs. You're going to wash your wrists. Do all of that interlocking and cleansing for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And then you are going to thoroughly rinse everything underneath the water. If you, once you're fully cleaned, you're going to grab disposable paper towels or a clean towel, and you're going to turn off the water. Dry your hands thoroughly. If you use paper towels, throw them in the trash. If you use a towel, it's going to go in the laundry with a closed container, or to be laundered with a lid until it's time to do the laundry. Then you're going to find your hand sanitizer, and you're going to sanitize your hands. It's 70% ethyl alcohol. Once your hands have been sanitized and everything is dry, you're going to put your gloves on. So you don't want to perform the service without gloves. You're definitely going to be wearing gloves. So it's hard to wear disposable gloves or put disposable gloves on if you have wet hands. So now I'm going to put my gloves on. And then we will get our client ready. So I'm going to go ahead and take some cotton rounds. I'm going to put a little bit of makeup remover on them, and I am going to lay them on her eyes. And then I'm going to mix her color choice. She is pretty natural, so she wanted to make sure that she did a dark brown versus a black. So we are going to go ahead and do that. And you're always going to follow your manufacturer's directions with the tint. So we're going to say for our video that it's 3/4 of an inch of color cream for 2 to 4 drops of your developer. So we're going to pretend like this is that, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to mix it all together. And what's going to happen is that this will prepare and get ready while I'm taking her makeup off her eyes and her eyebrows. So we're going to let that process, and we're going to go over here and we're going to leave those little iPads on, and we're going to work on the brows first. So we're going to take a little 2x2 here with some makeup remover, and I'm going to work in the direction of the hair growth first. So I'm basically trying to get off any makeup, eye cream, SPF, brow fill-in, whether it's a powder, a pencil, a gel, whatever it is. We don't want anything on the hairs. So I'm working with the direction of the hair growth, and then I'm coming back away as well. I mean, in the opposite direction of the hair growth. So if you need to get more than one, which I'm going to do right now, to remove, you can. Maybe one for each eyebrow if that's the case. Starting with the direction of the hair growth and then working your way back. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the eye makeup. Sometimes it takes a time or two. You just gauge it as you need it with your client. Just want to make sure she's nice and clean. And then I'm going to dry everything off. Make sure it's really dry. And then what I'm going to do is start with the barrier cream first. So I'm going to apply the barrier cream underneath the eyes and then also around the brows. And I'm always very cautious, always, to avoid the eye area. We always are avoiding the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Just so you notice, when I'm working, I am reusing this wooden stick Q-tip to apply the barrier cream, but it's just because I'm making a video. I would be getting a new wooden stick Q-tip every single time I go into my little barrier cream. Even though it's a little disposable cup, I still would be getting some new tools there. Just being budget conscious, and this isn't a real client, so just want to clarify that for anybody that might be watching. And then I'm going to do the brow. And I just want to go underneath the brow hair and protecting the skin here. Now I'm going to go to the other brow. And then I'm going to throw this away. Now I'm going to grab my disposable eye pads and I'm going to apply them, and I want to make sure that I'm going up underneath the bottom lashes because I'm going to be tinting the top lashes and the bottom lashes. So just taking your time here. to get all the way up and underneath. And one thing to note here is that you want to do both bottom lashes before you think about doing the top. Because once her bottom lashes have tint on them, she's going to close her eyes and she won't be able to open them back up. So if you were to do only one side and then she closed her eyes, she wouldn't be able to open the eyes again. And then you wouldn't have done the other side. So Sue, we are going to do both bottom lashes on both eyes before we do the top. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to get ready. And your color cream will be all ready to go. It'll be the right shade. We've got a nice dark brown over here, nothing black. And I'm going to apply it with my mascara wand, and I'm going to go do the bottoms real quick, both sides. So I'm going to have you look up, and I'm going to apply to the bottom lashes first. Other side, keep looking up. I'm almost finished. Just one more side to go. Perfect. And now you can close your eyes. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to get the top lashes done. And so what I'm going to do is just get a little bit more tint. And her eyes are going to be closed for the duration of the service. So I'm going to make sure that I apply a nice amount to the top. I just really want to coat the lashes, so I'm probably going to put some like on that bottom part too if I can. I may even go back over it after I do the other side. I'll come back and look and see what they look like. I'm just being cautious to avoid the eye. And then I'm going to get some more on my brush for the other side. And I just take my time because I know that she wants it done and I don't want her to have to come back in a couple days, so I'm going to make sure that it looks really good before she goes home today. I'm taking that big effort and time to really coat everything evenly. I'm going to get a little bit more to put on the other side. And at this point, you would be following manufacturer's directions based on the tint that you are using. But I'm going to for all intents and purposes, for our formulation, we are going to say that we're going to leave it on for 10 minutes to process. But because we are doing a video, we are going to not actually set a timer and wait 10 minutes. so we can go ahead and move forward with the removal process. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a dry remove to start, just really gentle, just wiping off the tint on one side, just really gently. And then I'm going to take that iPad out of the way, and I'm going to have her keep her eyes closed, continue to have her keep her eyes closed, and of course these are disposables. And then I'm going to get a wet wipe, and I'm going to go in there and gently remove the remainder. And sometimes this might take 2 to 3 passes or 2 to 3 times. It's okay, just do what you need to do to remove and be gentle. Okay. And then we're going to do the same on the other. We're going to start with a nice dry, gentle, gentle. And then carefully removing that disposable iPad. And then coming in with a wet. And then I'm going to do another dry pass here, just to make sure that both sides are really good and clean. And it looks nice, and it's got that dark brown, but it's not too harsh. It's just enough of color, what she was looking for. Looks pretty evenly distributed too. So I've got an extra disposable wand over here that has nothing on it that I'm just going to comb through her lashes just to make them look really pretty and spaced out, so she'll be able to see how nice they look. And then we can move forward and get to the brows. So what we're going to do now is we're going to apply that brow tint to her brows, and I'm actually going to use a brush to do that. And I'm going to apply in the direction of the hair growth first. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction because I really want to coat the brow hair She's kind of blonde, which is why she has very light brow, which is why she wants the tint, but she doesn't want it too dark, but she doesn't want it, you know, to work. So that's why we're taking the time to get it everywhere. Plus, I don't want to take it off and have to redo it or send her home and have her back in 2 days because it's not enough tint. All right, so I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm starting the application in the direction of the hair growth. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And I'm going to add a teensy bit more to the other side because I really want it perfect. And once again, we would be following manufacturer's instructions for the brow tint timeline, which for this video, we're going to say that you would be leaving brow tint on for 3 minutes. So longer for the lashes, less for the brows. So we will obviously go ahead and pretend that 3 minutes has passed. And so now it is time to remove the brow color. So I'm going to start with a dry, and I'm going to be really careful to avoid the eye area. And I'm starting the removal in the direction of the hair growth. I'm going to get a little wet one, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And as many, 2 to 3 times, whatever you need to do to get everything off, you can do that. And then we have the other side. Nice and careful here. Gentle, gentle. In the direction of the hair growth. Now I'm going to go back in the opposite direction. Great. I'm going to dry everything nicely. Beautiful. So she should be a-okay. So I'm going to take a minute now to present to her, and then because this is a service where she did not have to disrobe, you're going to take off your gloves. They're disposable, and then we're going to go over what we do for the to how to finish the appointment. So obviously she didn't disrobe, so you can remove the towel and her hairnet or headband or whatever you have, and then you're going to be able to take her out and close out that appointment. You will obviously get her rebooked if she needs to rebook for this service. You will go over maintenance and aftercare, and then you will send her on her way. And then you need to get back to your room because you have another appointment, so you have to just go on to the next step. So how you would finish up, all of your single-use items, you're going to throw them in the trash, and any implements that you might use, you have to put them in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. All the towels, the sheets, the linens, everything that you used for the facial bed, you're going to put it in a closed container until it's time to do the laundry. You will then identify the proper cleaning agent, and you're going to read and follow the manufacturer's directions. You will, for mixing and usage, wipe down your workstation, an area with a cleaning solution to remove debris. You'll identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, fungicidal, and EPA approved for use in a salon setting, which means you need to get some new disposable gloves. And you will follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. You'll disinfect electrical equipment, store it in clean area separate from other implements, and then to finish, you'll wash your hands. So you need to wet your hands at the sink, get liquid hand soap, wash your hands together down to the wrist, wash the back of your hands down to your wrist. You're going to wash your fingers and the back of your fingers, fingertips and nails, between your fingers and your thumbs. You're going to wash your thumbs, you're going to wash your wrists. You're going to do all of that for 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to thoroughly rinse your hands off underneath the water. Get a disposable paper towel to turn off the faucet, dry everything off. You can throw the paper towel away. Then get your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, sanitize your hands, and then you're going to be ready to then go ahead, move forward, and set up for your next client who will be coming in. So this concludes the video for brow and lash tint.